What caused my problem with authorities and when did it happen? It started already when I was studying at Poznań Art Academy, and it happened on quite academic level in that time. My diploma thesis was entitled Modality of Human Presence in Contemporary Art, and I was writing about Duchamp, Yves Klein, Schwitters, and in reference to this subject matter. But 68, 69, this was a time in Poland when there was a movement in the Central Committee of Communist Party against Zionism, against Jewish people. When I presented my dissertation to my promoter, who was director of Poznań Academy, he became very angry and named it or called it Jewish revisionism, because I was not conscious enough to remember that Duchamp was Jewish. I don't know if he was. Schwitters was Jewish. I don't know that he was. And if Klein was Jewish. So finally I had to write another theme, which was the technique of collage in contemporary art. But because it was technical, they accepted. However, I had to write about Duchamp and Schwitters and many others who maybe were Jewish. But the serious problem with authorities started really at the beginning of 70s when, together with my friend Kozłowski, we wrote a manifesto called Net and sent it all over the world. The idea of Net was based on the concept that there should be a kind of exchange among artists and theoreticians and critics without any political, geographical limits, just on a very private, based on very private contacts. And it worked out very well. When we sent the manifesto together with list to everybody, with the list of all the names and addresses of other people we invite to participate in that. In a short time I got enormous material from different artists from all over the world, which I wanted to present to my friends. I invited 10 people to my apartment, 10 friends of mine, whom I know quite well, to share all these materials. But in short time, in 40 minutes approximately, when we started the meeting, the police came, secret policeman and one in uniform and one from the Department of Internal Affairs. And they stopped the meeting. The reason they came into the flat was officially that there is a meeting which was not registered before, and according to Polish law, which was very clever at that time, all the meetings which were not related to any kind of family celebration, like birthday, wedding or funeral, had to be noticed by the special office and had to get a permission before it happened. So this was the formal explanation, but of course the reason was that some of these 10 persons, somebody from this group of friends, one person was probably collaborating with the police and gave them very peculiar information about what is going to happen. They were thinking it is a kind of political meeting of anarchistic, on the base of anarchistic ideas against the state. And for 1 year, after total research of the flat, after confiscation of all the materials, which I got back in few months' time, not all of them, but most of them, it started quite a serious problem for me. I got the date of the court, however it didn't happen because one night before the date of the court I was informed that it is not going to happen. But from this very moment, for 5 or 6 years, I was not allowed to teach at the academy because it was from point of view of the authorities of the school, of the academy. It was too dangerous for the young artists to contact me, and for such a period of time I was working in the library. I was not allowed to travel abroad for 5 years. And from this very moment, everything what I did in the context of art somehow was followed by observers from this peculiar place. I was interrogated for a few times for almost 1 year. And according to these meetings which took place in the police station or in the private apartments owned by the secret police, the recognition of art in contemporary art was quite good. Of course, they were playing silly games to present me how intelligent they are, how well informed they are. They knew quite a lot, but they didn't understand anything. What was the attitude towards art and culture? What was, in the opinion of the interrogators, the role of arts in society? I mean, they were really, they didn't understand what is art, what is contemporary art especially, but they were afraid that art contains some danger, is somehow possible to be used as a mean against the state. That is why they were controlling and censoring everything. There was a special office which was called censorship, Office for Controlling Publications, Performances and Exhibitions, which was extremely sensitive for all the metaphors or allusions to the issue of political references in general. So when I started a gallery after NET, I didn't want to go on with this officially, with this activity, inviting people to my private apartment, because the privacy was broken by the police. So I started, together with some students from Poznań University, from art historian department, a gallery, alternative, non-institutional gallery, which was related or which was supported in some ways by the Students' Union. It was a kind of umbrella against the authorities, of course. And when I wanted to print simple invitation cards and posters, because we were not allowed to publish any catalogs or whatsoever, always I had to get the permission from the censorship. Because in the 19 years of accumulatory 2 gallery activity, I organized approximately almost 200 exhibitions and lectures. I had to go to the censorship office all the times when I was planning to publish, to print the card, the invitation card or the poster. So I recognized some kind of special rules, how to play with them, because as much as the people who were interrogating me after the net, those people who were working in the censorship office were not very bright either. And I learned some kind of strategies how to get the stamp on the print. I also published a number of books at the beginning of 70s, art books. In all cases, of course, I had to be somehow supported by the institutional name. So I had used the Artists' Union, the Gallery Accumulatory 2, or other semi-institutional organizations to get the permission for publishing. All the books were censored as well, and in some cases it was really quite a jockey situation, because one of the book, for example, language, based on the investigation into Latin alphabet, letters combination was sent to special office for decoding secret languages in Warsaw, because they were thinking that it contains some special code which could be used for some illegal reasons. Also, one of my book, EB, which was quite a formal game with the notion of relativism, was confiscated during the search in my apartment, because somebody interpreted the book in a peculiar way and told them that it contains something else, what eventually could be connected or in a critical way to the political situation. They were very sensitive for all these allusions or metaphors referred to actual politics. In 71 or 72, I had an exhibition in Warsaw in Vauxhall Gallery. The exhibition was titled, the wall was entitled An Apparatus, but in the matter of fact it was a conceptual research in the possibilities of the photographic camera to see the world. I use all the combinations of technical aspects of the camera, but the censorship in Warsaw opposed the title of the exhibition. Apparatus was the term which in common language was referred to the high level of party members, group of Central Committee of Party people, and the director of Vauxhall Gallery had to change the title into a camera instead of an apparatus. Exhibitions were only censored if they had some eventual reference to politics. In Accumulatory Gallery, we always had somebody from the censorship office coming for the opening, but they didn't produce any problems in that time. A part of some cases, like for example, during the martial law, I made a work which was called Green Wall. It's picture, its illusion, and its image. The concept was very simple. I painted one extra built wall in the gallery space in green and put some inscription on it. The inscription was, the sentence was, green wall out of any political context. But of course it became very political and they closed down the exhibition. But in some general sense, it shows how they understood the whole activity of alternative galleries in that time, which were quite operative and active in Poland in the 70s and 80s. Because they were not following these places run by artists or art critics, were not following the political policy of culture dictated by the Central Committee of Party or the Ministry of Culture, the very fact that they exist already became a political matter. So even if I declared that the Green Wall has no any relationship to any political context, it became political even more than if I would say eventually the Green Wall as a political comment of the situation or whatsoever. In 1989 we passed this very strong change, ideological change from real communism. We turned into new capitalism. In a paradoxical way, it stopped the activity of alternative galleries. A lot of them were closed down, not because of any ideological problems, but because of economic problems. The Gallery Accumulatory 2, which I was running for 19 years, had to stop its activity simply because of the economy. What was the situation after the change? Of course, the censorship didn't operate in the way as it was before. There was not any institutional censorship. But in short time, another kind of censorship was introduced, provincial censorship. In most cases provoked or established by the Catholic Church. Anything what was critical and still is critical towards the church is forbidden somehow and produces problems. Church is the church as institution has a very long tradition, 2000 years of experience, and their presence is extremely strong. They control a lot, and there is a serious borderline which can't be broken down from this point of view. Somehow, in the past, the function or the role of art in society was very strong because it was seen and treated as a language which eventually could be dangerous. This is why they were very sensitive for all the works which were crossing the border of what was allowed. words, images were taken very seriously. Today they became very cheap. They have no power anymore. They have no meaning on this level as they had before. The politicians they are not afraid about art. They are not afraid of art. They don't care about art. They care about economy, they care about their positions, they care about power, but art is of secondary or even lower value. A lot of artist initiatives which were very important in the past do not exist anymore. There are official places which are showing contemporary art. They are open, and some of them are run by those people who were creating this informal art scene before. But there's a kind of different attitude towards art. It is not serious anymore as much as it was before. I'm not nostalgic for the past, but the power of art, the intensity of art articulations was much stronger before. That's, I think, enough for now.